Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. I had an unexpected time crunch this week, so I'm going to be doing two mini reviews of the last two SPSFC 3 finalists in the same video. I am sorry about that, but I have absolutely no choice in this matter. I'm just going to jump right into it. First, we have The 3 Grams of Elsewhere by Antti Geisler. What is this one about? 50 years ago, a new civil war fractured the United States into a mosaic of polarized nations. Ever since, Harmony B.B. Kane has isolated himself from society, from technology, from family. A powerful empath weary from the constant intrusion of others' emotions, he's finally cloistered in his rural Wisconsin retirement community. He hopes to find, if not peace, then at least a little quiet. But when 4 impossible seeming killings shake North America, BB is drawn into investigation he wants nothing to do with. The victims were killed by motes, unstoppable drones only an empath can control, and decades ago, BB was an unwitting subject in the wartime program that created them, the program that weaponized empathy. With his few remaining friends at risk and tensions between countries of the former United States reawakening, everything may depend on BB's lifelong struggle with his own extraordinary ability. This book was really interesting because the main character is an older man, like quite old. Think like retirement home old. This was interesting in itself as BB is a fun mix of cantankerous and wise, an older dude that has seen things but also isn't interested in talking about it that much. He just wants to live his life. The other characters, particularly Dice, were fun and worked well with and against his attitude. I really liked how they kind of all played off one another. The world build is really interesting as well. We have fractured United States, as the blurb said, a world where everyone is linked into technology and people who are empaths that can basically feel emotions. They can kind of read minds. It's kind of like more like they can tell emotions, but anyway. So Baby is, as you heard in the blurb, very good at this, except he doesn't want to be. It's too loud. I felt that. I felt that on an emotional level. He's just like, he has to take a drug to like dampen the effects of his abilities because he's just like, can't handle it. The way the world functions now, or at least America functions, is laid out without a need for copious exposition, and it's future enough to feel quite sci-fi, but not to be outlandish. The world building is really, really well done. It's quite excellent. I automatically understood what was going on, even without reading the blurb. It was very easy to picture kind of how things were now. They're kind of the same, but they're also like, there's heightened technology. It felt like a very probable future. The story itself is well executed, with little hints dropped here and there as to the ending that you don't really think about until you get there, so that was very clever. The plot is unique, and the trajectory doesn't often go where you expect, which was a lot of fun. I will say, though, the story does drag at times considerably in some spots. I found myself jumping, forward sometimes to see how much I had left in a chapter because I was kind of like, okay, like, where's this going? And it wasn't a book that I was overly excited to pick back up again once I set it down. Once I was reading it, it was good and I was into it, but I wasn't like drawn to it every night. I guess there's just like a lot of meandering in the book, especially in BB's sections. I very much enjoyed the interviewers parts, kind of near the start more than anything. Once the story got going, this kind of tapered off, but it was kind of hard to get into the book for the first about third, almost half, really. Yet, I will say it's a solid, entertaining, interesting read for anyone who likes their sci-fis, less in space and more contemplative, more speculative, I guess you could say. I definitely recommend it. I definitely think it deserved to be a finalist. I just, it wasn't like my favorite, and that's okay. Not every book is going to be, but I do think it's very, very well done. So, thank you. As for the second book, Memoirs of a Synth, Gold Record by Lee Sanders, this one is entirely different from 3 Grams, but also a solid, enjoyable read. So what is it about? Tour guide, emissary, diplomat, thief, and long-lived genetically engineered synth, Brianna Ray travels the 100 worlds, hiding in plain sight. She knows her survival depends on staying one step ahead of the bounty hunters who have nearly exterminated her kind. All that changes when she teams up with fellow thief Gerald McKell, and he discovers Brianna's true identity. Now Brianna must choose between trust and survival, and what it means to be truly human. Kind of like 3 Grams, I will say I had trouble getting into this one. I didn't really feel the energy between the two leads, and there's no buildup of tension whatsoever as they start a relationship on pretty much page 2. Insta-love is a trope that I am not very fond of. Likewise, because the story starts right away with without any build up to characterization, for the first third, I felt like I was traveling behind Brianna rather than being fully invested in her story. I was kind of just like watching. I didn't feel very immersed. Yet, the world building was super fun. The alien worlds and the aliens themselves just kept me reading. And once the momentum built, I really did end up liking Brianna. I never particularly warmed to Gerald, probably because of what I said before about the insta love. We don't really get to meet him outside of his relationship to Brianna, so he felt kind of like distanced for me. So I guess that aspect was a little bit wonky for me. It's also a heist story. If you enjoy those, you will like this. My main deal is that I'm not particularly drawn to heist stories unless there is a strong reason for the heist, such as to reclaim a personal possession or for a cause. So doing it for the money wasn't a big draw for me. Likewise, the story had a kind of an episodic feel at times. In this chapter, we're on this planet, and on this one, we're in this one, seeing these aliens, etc. Which was fun, actually, in a way. But given they are traveling to different worlds and seeing different aliens, it did make for kind of a fractured main plot line in a sense. It kind of felt like they went on a lot of side quests. Again, I think a lot of people would really enjoy this. It just made the story feel a bit long to me. It felt like some of those could have been like trimmed down a bit. I will reiterate though that the alien worlds and aliens themselves are very strong regarding depiction and culture. I absolutely loved that aspect. I kind of wanted more focus on the aliens at times, even though they do get a lot of focus. I kind of was like, it kind of would have been cool if one of the main characters was like an alien. Overall, though, while I was a little underwhelmed by the novel in terms of it being a finalist, it was really fun. So if you like sci-fi heists and lots of aliens and planets, you should totally check it out. It is a really, really good novel. It's very good. For me, it didn't kind of like reach that level where I would give it like a 10 out of 10. I thought it was just really solid and really well done, though. So yeah, so that kind of wraps up my reviews of the SPSFC 3 books. As I said, once the winner is announced, I will be doing a little video kind of talking about my experience with the entire thing. I can't believe that it's over. It feels like it just kind of begun. Time is an illusion. So I will be doing that later in the month. And yeah, if I have time, apparently I don't have time for anything this week. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you hopefully another video this week, but I don't know. It might have to be till next week.